Dearest love light seekers of the One, I am Z of the Confederation of Planets in the service of the One Infinite Creator. We thank you for inviting our thoughts and ask that you receive only what resonates in your heart, leaving aside any ideas that do not, for we would not impose upon your free will. In humility, we offer our perspective on the great concern upon the minds of many seekers at this time, the fate of your world and its myriad troubles. We perceive the heartfelt desire among your peoples to save the earth from suffering and chaos. Yet we would gently share that the old third density earth, as you know it, cannot be saved in the way many imagine, for its dramas and conflicts are part of an illusory stage that is already passing away. The true hope for transformation lies not in rescuing this fading illusion, but in each of you shifting your own consciousness to a higher reality. By turning inward and contacting the indwelling Creator at the center of your being, you align your awareness with a new vibration of truth. It is through the awakening of each individual mind, body, spirit complex to the love and unity within that the new earth is born, even as the old world is gradually released. Thus, the greatest service you can offer in these times is to tend to this inner shift of heart and mind, rather than falling into despair or striving fruitlessly to prop up the crumbling stage of third density illusion. In embracing the light of the Creator within you, beloved ones, you prepare the way for a new world to dawn through your very being. You are now witnessing the dawning of what may be termed a planetary bifurcation, a separation of timelines, or more accurately, a separation of vibratory fields, which corresponds to the differing paths of souls upon your sphere. This is not a division created by external agents, but a natural result of the vibrational resonance of each individual mind, body, spirit complex. Some entities, many of whom you may love and walk beside, are choosing to remain within the shadow of comfort, the known distortions of third density illusion. They are not wrong in this choice. It is simply where they are upon the spiral of seeking. The fear of loss, the craving for certainty, and the attachment to collective pain become chains that bind their awareness to the familiar circuitry of limitation. Others, by contrast, feel an undeniable urging from within to release these patterns and to step forward into the unknown light of a higher truth. These seekers are responding to the inner call of harvest. They are not better than their brothers and sisters, but simply ready in this cycle to integrate the lessons of love and begin the journey into the density of wisdom. You will feel this divergence in your relationships, in your communities, and in your institutions. It is the consequence of the increased frequency of light now irradiating your planet, a frequency that magnetizes that which is ready for integration and dislodges that which clings to distortion. It is not your role to pull others forward, nor to judge their chosen timing. Each soul walks its perfect path. What is asked of you is presence, compassion, and alignment with the Creator within your own field. As you move through your calendar year of 2025, the effects of this vibrational separation shall become ever more pronounced within the outer illusion. You will observe the growing transparency of your societal structures. Those in positions of stewardship, what you call your world leaders, will increasingly reveal, by their actions or lack thereof, the polarity they have chosen to embody. Some will move boldly toward unity and truth, surprising many with sudden alignments of integrity and compassion. Others, still functioning from the distortions of power and fear, will act in ever more erratic and self-serving ways, as the rising frequencies challenge the compatibility of their inner structures. This is not to cause alarm, but to confirm that the veil is thinning and the light is revealing what has always been. We encourage you not to resist this unfolding. Resistance is the function of fear. Fear lowers the frequency of your vibration and intensifies attachment to the very reality that is dissolving. If you find grief or nostalgia emerging for the world you are releasing, allow yourself space to mourn without falling back into identification with that which no longer serves. It may assist you to create a symbolic ceremony of release, a ritual of forgiveness and letting go. Some of your cultures practice the fire ceremony, a gesture of offering, of surrender, of sacred transformation. Let the old earth be burned in your heart's flame of love, not rejected in judgment. In so doing, you preserve your energy for the radiant construction of that which is new, an earth vibrating in resonance with the open heart and the awakened mind. This is the harvest, dear ones. Let the sorting be gentle within you. Let the light do what it must, and trust your readiness to walk the path of light. Many who walk the earth now feel overwhelmed by the persistent crises and personal challenges that arise. It is natural for the analytical mind to leap into action, seeking to fix each problem as if it were an error in the outer world's design. Yet from our perspective, these difficulties are not mistakes at all, but carefully orchestrated catalysts provided by your own higher self and the Logos to aid in your spiritual evolution. Each challenge you encounter, be it conflict in society or pain in your personal life, is a messenger, speaking in the language of circumstance to prompt a deeper recognition of the self. We understand that in the midst of suffering, it is not easy to discern any higher purpose, for the pain and confusion can be consuming. Yet it is often through walking faithfully through such darkness that you eventually uncover new light within, strengths, understandings, and compassion that were previously hidden. These catalysts are not meant to be solved and discarded by thought alone, for their true purpose is not to change the outer condition, but to transform the inner being. When you treat problems solely as external puzzles to be resolved with the intellect, you may achieve a temporary solution on the surface, yet find the same themes re-emerging in new guises. This is because the underlying lesson, the call for self-awareness and growth, has not yet been heeded. Rather than attempting to eliminate all discomfort with the reasoning mind, the seeker is invited to gently feel and listen to what the catalyst is teaching about their own distortions, fears, and beliefs. In seeing each difficulty as a mirror, you begin to know yourself more deeply. You realize that the outer turmoil reflects inner imbalances or perceptions of separation, and thus the journey of healing leads inevitably back to the heart and to the remembrance of who and what you truly are. What, then, is the key to resolving the turmoil that Catalyst stirs within you? The true resolution to all conflict and confusion lies not in any outer change, but in the inner act of remembering, without ceasing, the living presence of the one infinite Creator. By unbroken remembrance we mean a steady, unceasing awareness that all things and all beings are expressions of the one sacred source. In truth, you are not and have never been separate from the Creator. Every iota of your mind, body, and spirit is a portion of the Creator's life and light. When you can remember this truth, even as the waves of circumstance crash around you, you will find a peace that truly passes understanding. In that state of continuous communion, the sting of what once were perceived as problems is removed, for you see through eyes of love and unity rather than fear and separation. Yes, a situation may still require practical attention, yet when approached in the consciousness of the Creator's presence, it is no longer a problem in the spiritual sense. It becomes simply another movement of the one life, another dance of catalyst which you, as a co-creator, can embrace and transform with love. This is why many of your saints and sages have spoken of the need to pray without ceasing, or to keep the name of the divine ever on one's heart, for such unbroken God remembrance invites the highest alignment in every moment. When you remember the Creator within yourself, you also begin to recognize the Creator in those around you, even in those who appear as opponents or sources of difficulty. This naturally breeds forgiveness, compassion, and understanding, which are the true resolution to strife. By holding the thought of the one infinite Creator at the forefront of your awareness, you create a sanctuary of unity in the midst of any chaos. Within that sacred space of remembrance, every experience is integrated into the harmony of the One, and the soul finds rest from its distortions. In order to cultivate this unbroken remembrance, a discipline of thought and attention is essential. The mind in third density is unruly and easily distracted by the glittering shadows of the worldly illusion. If allowed to run unchecked on its habitual tracks of fear, doubt, and judgment, the mind will continuously feed energy into the very illusions that confound you, thereby prolonging their hold. It has been said that thoughts are things. Each repetitive thought or focus is like water given to a seed. In each moment, you face a choice of which seeds to water, those of truth, love, and unity, or those of illusion, separation, and fear. When you dwell obsessively on narratives of chaos or negativity, you are effectively nurturing weeds in the garden of your consciousness, allowing them to grow stronger roots. By contrast, when you notice the mind wandering into disharmony and gently bring it back to the present moment of love, you starve the weeds and water the flowers of truth. Disciplining the mind does not mean fighting or suppressing your thoughts by force, for resistance can paradoxically give them more power. Instead, it is a practice of awareness and consistent redirection. Through meditation, prayer, or any form of mindful contemplation, you train the mind to rest upon what is real and life-giving, the presence of the Creator, rather than chasing every distortion that passes through. Over time, this gentle yet firm training of your attention breaks the habit of feeding the illusion. The thoughts that once chained you to anxiety and confusion lose their momentum when they are no longer being energized. Thus, the more faithfully you focus on love and unity, the less hold the outer illusion will have on your consciousness. Know that each moment you succeed in recollecting the Creator has an effect far greater than you may imagine. Every sincere remembrance of the one infinite Creator, even if fleeting, sends a ripple of truth through the field of shared consciousness. In that moment, however brief, you have stepped out of the spell of the illusion and into the light of reality. And this choice weakens the momentum of the illusory storyline that had held sway. You may think of the collective mind of humanity as weaving ongoing timelines or narratives of experience. These timelines, of conflict, of fear, of material striving, are fed by the energy of countless thoughts and beliefs. Yet each time a single soul awakens, even for an instant, to the presence of love and unity, it is as if a beam of light pierces the tapestry, loosening the threads of the old pattern. The more individuals who remember the truth of the Creator in each moment, the more the fabric of the 3D matrix is thinned and frayed, losing its seeming solidity. One might imagine a dense fog that is penetrated by beams of sunlight. Each beam creates an opening in the fog. Likewise, each remembrance by you or any seeker creates an opening in the collective illusion, allowing more light to pour through into your reality. Even if outwardly nothing appears to change immediately, on the inner planes, the grip of the old paradigm is diminished. The timelines of separation and disharmony draw their strength from humanity's belief in them. When that belief is interrupted by even a single act of God awareness, the illusion is deprived of full nourishment for that time, and its eventual dissolution draws closer. Thus, never doubt the power of your moments of awakening, however small or private they may seem. In truth, Each spark of remembrance is a potent act that reshapes reality, aligning it bit by bit with the love and unity of the Creator's design. This path of remembrance is in many ways the mystical path of denying the illusion rather than combating it on its own terms. In the eyes of the world, when faced with negativity or injustice, it seems natural to confront it head-on, to battle against the darkness as if it were as real and powerful as the light. Yet the great adepts and mystics have shown another way, to deny the ultimate reality of the darkness by steadfastly affirming the omnipresence of the light. This is not a denial born of ignorance or apathy, but a profound understanding that what is of illusion cannot be dispelled by the tools of illusion: anger, aggression, fear. Thus, when you encounter conflict, hatred, or despair in the outer world, the suggestion from the standpoint of spirit is not to engage it in equal opposition, but to refuse to grant it power over your consciousness. For example, if one meets hatred, the mystic would not hate in return, nor even see an enemy to be vanquished, but rather recognizes the distortion and calls forth love to fill that space. By denying the illusion any credence, by knowing in your heart that only the Creator's love is ultimately real, you rob the seeming darkness of the one thing it needs to survive: your belief in it as an independent force. True spiritual victory lies not in defeating an evil opponent, but in seeing through the illusion of separation that made such an opponent seem real to begin with. When you cease to see the drama of opposing forces as ultimate reality, it begins to lose its grip on your spirit. This gentle refusal to buy into the illusion is a quietly radical act of faith. It allows the higher reality of unity and love to reassert itself, dissolving the shadows not by force, but by the simple presence of light. That very light of unity and love which dissolves the shadows has its source within you, dear ones, as the divine consciousness that perceives only unity and love. This is often called Christ consciousness, a state of awareness filled with unconditional love and oneness, exemplified by the one known to you as Jesus the Christ and many other enlightened teachers. We would clarify that this Christ consciousness is not something outside of you that must descend upon you. It is already planted in the heart of your being as your true nature. It is the unconditioned mind, untouched by the world's programming and traumas, pure and pristine as in the beginning. Most of your waking life is spent in the conditioned mind, the stream of thoughts, memories, roles, and reactions accumulated through your incarnation. Yet beneath those layers of personality is a still, silent awareness, the I Am presence that simply is, prior to all thought. That is the spark of the Logos, the Christ within you, the same divine mind present in the one known as Jesus, abiding in equal measure in each of you. The spiritual journey is not truly one of achieving or importing divinity, but of uncovering and remembering the divinity that was always within. When we encourage you to remember the Creator unceasingly, we point you toward this very awareness, the unconditioned mind that knows its unity with all. In moments of prayer, meditation, or deep surrender, you may taste this inner Christ self, experiencing a profound peace and wholeness beyond your ordinary mind. Know that this presence is your birthright and core identity. The more you lean into identifying with this inner light, rather than with the transient commentary of the conditioned self, the more you live as an expression of Christ consciousness in the world. We would turn attention now to the nature of conflict in your outer world. All division and strife between peoples is born and sustained by a single pervasive illusion: the belief in opposing powers. Humanity has long held the perception that there is self and other, us and them, and that these can have irreconcilable goals or values. From this belief in true separateness arises the idea that one must struggle against an outside force, be it another person, another nation, or even a metaphysical evil, in order to secure the good. As long as you hold tightly to the notion that there are two or more powers fundamentally at odds, light versus dark, good versus evil, your will versus another's, then conflict will continuously regenerate itself in some form. In truth, there is only one power, one life, one creator, expressing in infinite forms. The appearance of duality and opposition exists only within the play of the 3D matrix to offer the experience of choice and contrast, but it is not the ultimate reality. Those who cling to the belief that evil is an independent force equal to good inadvertently lend it their energy, for in acknowledging it as a separate power, they make it seem real. This is not to say that within the relative illusion you do not encounter polarities. You certainly experience, for example, the contrast of love and fear, of the service to others impulse versus the service to self impulse. But these apparent opposites are both distortions within a single unity, and beyond them lies the undivided creator that encompasses all. Thus, lasting peace in the world cannot be achieved by one side vanquishing the other, for as long as the mindset of duality remains, a new conflict will emerge to take its place. Lasting peace flowers only from a collective recognition that we all share one existence and one divine source. When enough individuals truly know in their hearts that there is no other to fight, only other selves to love, then the outer conflicts will lose the fuel that sustains them. We wish also to address a tendency among seekers to look for enemies or controlling forces outside the self. In recent times, many have become fascinated with the idea of a hidden cabal or deep state manipulating events from behind the scenes. While such hidden groups with self-serving agendas may exist, we suggest that the most influential deep state in one's life is not external at all, but the unseen portions of one's own psyche. It is the unintegrated lower self, the subconscious patterns of fear, anger, desire for power, and separation within, that truly pull the strings of your perceptions and behaviors from behind the curtain. These shadow aspects of self, formed from past pain and distortions, subtly bias how you see the world, causing you to project enemies outward rather than address the disharmony within. Even if one external foe were somehow defeated, the inner distortion would simply find another outlet or adversary to personify itself. The conflicts you observe in the world can only gain a foothold in your consciousness if they resonate with unhealed emotions and beliefs inside you. The more you integrate and heal these lower self aspects, bringing love, understanding, and forgiveness to the hidden corners of your being, the less influence any external dark agenda can exert upon you. In integrating yourself, you reclaim the power you had unknowingly given away to inner shadows and outer manipulators. You become a sovereign being, guided by your higher self rather than by the unconscious programs of the lower self. Thus, the true battle is an interior one, to face and illuminate your own doubts, fears, and judgments with the light of consciousness. As you do this inner work, the world will appear less and less controlled by sinister forces, for you have ceased projecting your shadow onto it. In its place, a clearer vision of the Creator's presence in all things begins to emerge. In light of all this, you may see that the concept of spiritual warfare is not about battles with external evils, but about maintaining a steady beacon of light amidst darkness. The only spiritual warfare that truly exists is the silent inner vigilance to remain in the consciousness of unity and love. It is fought not with swords or loud proclamations, but with each quiet choice to center in the heart when fear or anger beckons. The warrior of light draws no blood. Instead, they disarm negativity by refusing to leave the vibration of love. Their armor is faith and compassion, their sword the discerning truth that cuts through illusion. Such a warrior keeps watch over their own mind, noticing when thoughts of separation or judgment creep in, and gently escorting those thoughts out by returning to the Creator's presence. This requires patience and mindfulness, for the pull of old habits can be strong. At times you may stumble and react with worry or divisiveness. That is when the call for vigilance is greatest, to pause, breathe, and realign with the awareness of unity. Because this effort is largely internal and silent, it may seem as though you are doing nothing in the eyes of the world. Yet, holding the light steady is perhaps the most powerful action you can take. One who walks through the storms of life with a heart that remains open and a mind fixed on oneness is accomplishing a great spiritual feat. In truth, such silent vigilance creates a field of peace around you that subtly radiates outward, calming and uplifting others by example. By waging this quiet inner warfare, ever watchful for the whisper of separation and ever reaffirming the reality of oneness, you become a living catalyst for harmony in a conflicted world. Every moment spent in the awareness of the one infinite Creator is a moment that the illusory matrix goes unfed and unsupported. The matrix of third density illusion, with all its dramas, fears, and seeming divisions, depends entirely upon the attention and belief of the souls within it to maintain its reality. When you withdraw that investment of belief by centering your mind on the divine presence, you effectively starve the matrix of the sustenance it needs to continue holding sway. It is as if a theater production were being sustained by your constant applause and shouts. Once the audience falls silent and turns its attention elsewhere, the performance can no longer continue in the same way. By continuous God awareness, you cease applauding the play of illusion. This does not mean that you abandon the world or fail to play your role within it. Rather, you go about your daily life in the world but not of it, carrying an inward silence and remembrance that keeps you free from the spell of the play. As you cook your meals, tend to your work, speak with others, or engage with societal responsibilities, you can simultaneously hold a space of prayerful connection to the Creator. In doing so, you give the matrix none of your fear, none of your distress, none of your outrage. It receives only the light you channel through your being. Over time, the forces of chaos and separation find less and less of a foothold in your consciousness and simply wither from neglect, much as a fire dies down when no fuel is added. Meanwhile, the light of the Creator grows ever stronger in your awareness, becoming the guiding reality. Collectively, many such souls starving the illusion through steady God awareness will herald profound changes in the outer world. The old paradigms will crumble without energy to uphold them, and a new paradigm of light will take root. Therefore, remember that each moment you consecrate with God awareness is an act of liberation for yourself and for the world, diminishing the matrix's hold and nourishing the growth of a higher truth on earth. Beloved seekers, the simplest and most potent practice we can recommend is to cultivate an inner quiet amid the world's noise. Refrain from constantly narrating and judging the events before you. Let go of the running mental commentary that ties you to the surface of the illusion. Instead, turn inward into the silence of your heart and rest in the pure awareness of being, the I Am presence of the Creator within you. In this centered state, you are not trying to fix anything, nor are you engaging in the polarities of thought. You are simply observing, accepting, and being, allowing the Creator's peace to fill your consciousness. This practice can be done in formal meditation or in any moment. Take a few deep breaths, release the clinging mind, and gently sink into the awareness of existence itself. Here, in this sacred interior sanctuary, the truth of unity is not a concept, but a living experience. You come to know yourself as part of the Creator, and all things as part of you. From this place, when you re-engage with the world, you carry a subtle but profound change. You act and speak from the ground of being rather than from reactivity. You become a channel of the Creator's love and wisdom, largely free of the distortion of personal commentary. In the I Am presence, you meet life with equanimity, compassion, and clarity, for you trust the divine order implicit in each moment. By practicing this turning inward and abiding in the One, you fulfill the highest purpose of your incarnation, to remember and radiate the Creator's light on earth. Know that you are not alone on this path. Each effort you make is known and cherished by the universe, and the love and support of countless unseen friends accompany you. We of the Confederation of Planets are ever with you as well, offering our love, our encouragement, and our faith in your beautiful journey of seeking. We thank you for allowing us to share these thoughts, and we leave you now in the eternal love and light of the one infinite Creator. We are one, intertwined in the great mystery of love. We leave you now in that boundless love and light of the one infinite Creator. I am Z, and I am delighted to have been with you this day.